Strictly music, only music, and nothing else. And I'm very, very, very torn today with the hit versus hit that we have lined up because honestly, I can't decide, but I have decided. But it was a very, very, very difficult decision that I'm still grappling with. But I'm confident in my choice. I will need some help in the comment section though to make sure that I made the right one because this can honestly go either way. So I'm not going to tease you guys any longer. Let's go ahead and get into Chris Brown's Residuals versus Partynextdoor's No Chill. Now, these are both relatively new songs in the grand scheme of things. Excuse me. And if you don't know, pause this video, go get involved, play them back to back, and then come back. And then you'll know why this is such a difficult decision. Both of these tracks are colossal. Colossal. And if you're into that smooth R&B laid back type of feel, these are some of the top tiers of that genre. Partynextdoor's No Chill and Chris Brown's Residuals are both phenomenal tracks. But strictly music, only music, and nothing else. You know I don't do no playing. I'm going to get right into it. I got Partynextdoor. And that's a very hot take. That's hot. 90 degrees, 110, 120, 126, 150 degree take. That's hot. That's a hot take. I got No Chill over Chris Brown's Residuals, and let me tell you why. Hook-wise, Chris Brown, I edge him. I give the hook to Chris. Production, I give it to Chris a little bit. I think Chris edges Party on production a bit. But where Partynextdoor takes it for me is his subject matter. It's his subject matter, what he's talking about, and the approach to what he's talking about. I prefer it. And we here at Strictly Music, Only Music, and Nothing Else, we decide everything in the court of public opinion. We're not going off of numbers and statistics. I feel that we're all intelligent enough, and I feel that the audience that's watching this is intelligent enough to make an educated decision based on their own musical knowledge. We don't need to go pull up a million facts and statistics, and we're not speaking about the artists as individuals or their catalog as a whole. We're speaking strictly on hit versus hit, track versus track, Residuals by Chris Brown versus No Chill by Partynextdoor, and I got No Chill. I'm a big fan of No Chill's approach. I like the beat, and I like the subject matter on No Chill. Chris Brown's subject matter doesn't speak to me the same way, but I got Partynextdoor's No Chill 10 and Chris Brown's Residuals about a 9.8. This is down to the wire because that hook on Residuals sends it over the top for me. But that's it. It's the hook that sends it over the top for me. With Partynextdoor's No Chill, the entirety of the track sends it over the top for me. I like all of his verses. I like the hook. I like the whole thing. Residuals, it's the hook that ropes me in, and the hook is so strong that it makes this very debatable. But this is track versus track, not hook versus hook. And if we're going through the entirety of the track, word for word, bar for bar, line for line, I got No Chill. Now the beats are very comparable. That also falls down to personal opinion. I think Chris Brown's beat and Party's beat, if I had to give it to him, I would say maybe Chris's. I think Chris edges Party out in a lot of these categories, but it's the meat and potatoes of the track, which is what you're talking about. On tracks like this, certain tracks that may not apply, but on these type of tracks that applies. And Chris is talking, he's wondering who's getting his residuals and who's getting the leftover love and who's getting all the energy and time that he put into a certain individual. And Party is talking about No Chill. He's been with triplets, he's been with twins, he's been solo. Where does he begin? But to me, you're still the star of the show. I like how Party approaches that track more. The biggest part of Residuals that speaks to me is the hook. Who's getting all my love? Who's getting all my time that used to be mine? The hook sends Residuals over the top. But not only does Party have a good hook with I've been with triplets, I've been with twins, I actually like the entirety of the track from what he's talking about from the beginning to the end. I'm not just waiting for that hook to kick in. And the beat is also comparable. So it's not as if the Residuals beat just flies over No Chill. It's still comparable beat-wise. The subject matter in No Chill sends that song to a different level for me. And this is a court of public opinion, and we're very educated here in the art of music and music mastery and music critiquing. And we're talking strictly music, only music and nothing else. And the subject matter on tracks like these matters because these are feel-good R&B tracks. And Party edges it. Party edges it. With Chris Brown's Residuals, I'm waiting on the hook to kick in. I feel when we listen to that track, we're all waiting for the hook to kick in. With Party's track, we're waiting for the hook to kick in as well, but we'll sing every word leading up to the hook. Not to say that you won't do the same for Residuals, but we know that the hook and the chorus on Residuals is the meat and potatoes of that track. Who's Getting All My Love? When he hits that, that's what sends it up. We're not necessarily just waiting on the hook for No Chill. That adds to the experience. But his subject matter as a whole, I prefer that. And I think everything else is comparable. Now, I do give Chris Brown a bit more of the singing ability that goes without saying almost. It's Chris Brown. But if we're going track versus track, Residuals versus No Chill, I think the subject matter on No Chill pushes it past Residuals by a very small margin. I got Residuals 9-8. I got No Chill 10 flat. And that's a hot take. So you need to get in the comments and help me out here. What am I missing? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. I got No Chill edging it out slowly. Strictly music, only music, and nothing else. We can have this discussion. If you can remove the artist from the conversation as an individual and grade them solely on their tracks. Residuals versus No Chill. I got No Chill. The Residuals hook is phenomenal and it sends it over. But that's what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting for that hook. No Chill, the whole track, I'm on it from beginning to end, word for word, line for line, bar for bar. What matters more to you? What sounds better to you? I think Chris edges him in a lot of categories here. But the meat and potatoes of that track is one singular portion of it versus the entirety of the No Chill track. And for tracks to be so close together, you need a bit more to pull away and get a lead. Because the beats are comparable. I think the only thing that Chris edges Party on when it goes to track versus track, Residuals versus No Chill, is his singing ability. I give the beat to Residuals, but in all honesty, they could be tied, but we don't give participation awards. So you can say, how has Chris got the beat? How does Chris got the singing ability? All of that is centralized around the hook. The beat is cool, but it hits more when the hook comes in. Party's beat hits the entirety of the time because of his subject matter. So I would have to really say I would be grading this solely on that Who's Getting All My Time portion of Residuals versus Party's entire track. And I don't think Partynextdoor is an artist that can be easily defeated in a hit versus hit, track versus track, with just a hook. At least not the Residuals hook. I believe that that song, No Chill, is strong enough to stand up to a singular hook. Now, if the entirety of the track gave me the same feeling that the hook did, then Party would be in trouble and this would go to Chris. But I can't see one singular hook dethroning the entirety of the No Chill's track. And the entirety of the No Chill track is flames. Strictly music, only music, and nothing else. Hit versus hit. Chris Brown's Residuals versus Partynextdoor's No Chill. To that I say, Partynextdoor, get at me.